Hello guys, welcome to my fifth video of DBMS tutorial series. In this video I'm going to take you through my fifth question set. First, let's read the paragraph to understand about the task that we are going to do. The board of directors of New Vision Academy has decided to computerize the information of all the teachers in the educational institution. The software is being developed by Target Software Solution. Assume that you're working as a senior software engineer in this company and you and your team are responsible for creating a database of this software. Create the database according to the instruction given you as follows. Okay, as you can see here we have three instructions. So the first instruction tells us to create a database called New Vision Academy to store teachers' data. Okay, now let's create that database. To create a database, you need to right click on schemas panel and click on create a schema, and we need to name our database now as New Vision Academy. Now we need to click on apply again, click on finish. Let's close this tab, we don't need that. Now let's expand the database. Now let's move to the second instruction. It tells us this software has a table called teacher to store teachers' data. Follow the instructions given to create it. You can see this first table here. That table contains the information that we need to use when we create our teacher table. Now expand your database and right click on tables, then click on create table. In the table name field we need to type our table name, which is teacher, and now I'm gonna add my columns. Double click on this area, then you'll be able to add columns like this. My second column is first name. Okay, now we have added our column list and named our table. Now we need to create this table in the database. To do that, we need to click on this apply button. Click on apply button again. Click on finish. Okay, now let's close this tab, we don't need that. When you do that, you can see a little triangle icon in front of the tables item. That means this tables item contains something inside of it. So we can expand that to see that. You can see our teacher table has created successfully. Now let's move to the third instruction. Third instruction tells us to enter the data shown in the table below in the database table you have set up above. Do not use the graphical method when entering the data here. All data must be entered from the query statements. Okay, now we're gonna write SQL queries to insert data. Now to do that, we need to hover on our teach table, and then you can see the rightmost icon. It's like a table. Click on that. Then you get two separate areas. This area we use to write SQL queries, and this area we use to manually enter data or update and delete data. And to see our database table data, we use this area. Now we're gonna write SQL query statements to insert the data. I give this SQL query statement because this is the query statement that we use to see our all the data in the table. Now I take that down, and in the first line I'm going to write my first query to insert our first row. I type insert and I type into keyword. Now we need to provide our database name. Database name is New Vision Academy. Now we need to type dot here. Now we say go to New Vision Academy and choose the teacher table. Now this is the table that we use to insert data within our New Vision Academy database. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to provide our column names that we're going to use to store our data. So the column names must be typed within backticks. Remember to type column names correctly, otherwise you'll get an error. Next we have our last column is email. Okay, now we have our column list. Let me break down this into multiple lines, then you can see that clearly. Okay, now we have provided our column names. We have told now these are the columns that we use to enter data. Now we need to provide values into those columns. So I'm gonna type values keyword and open and close the brackets, and within the brackets I'm gonna put my values for each column. So the value must be entered within double quotes or single quotes. So I'm gonna put single quotes here. Our first row value for teacher registration number column is this value, and I'm gonna enter data. Okay, after we finish our SQL query statement for inserting one row, we need to put semicolon because we need to terminate that query. And now we have written one query to store the first row of our table. Now let's write another query to insert the second row of the table. As you can see here, we insert all the columns data using queries. In that case, we don't need to type the column list that we are going to use to enter the data, because we insert the data for all the columns, so we can remove this column list like this. So if you count the number of columns in our table, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and when we insert the data, we insert 6 values: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, right? The values, the number of values that we insert in the table is equals to the number of columns in the table. So that means we store all the values in the table. In that case, we don't need to put our column list, so I'm gonna remove this one too. Now I just keep that, and then you can see when we run these queries, we don't get any error if we do this both. So we need to run these query statements now. To run this, we need to click on this little yellow lightning icon. Actually, we have got an error. Okay, I found the error because the error was this one. We use this information to insert into our first row, and we use the same information to insert into the second row. So in this case, our teacher registration number column is a primary key, so we cannot insert the same data into the primary key. That's why we get the error. So let's update this to insert the data in the second row. So the second row, teacher registration number column contains TE_005. Then I'm gonna change other information too. and this one is female, and next we have our contact number today. Contact number is 077 15 055 22. Okay, let's edit our email too. Okay, now I got to remove this line because this line has executed successfully. You can see that here, this one. So you can check that. You need to hover on teacher table, and you need to click on this rightmost icon. Then you can see our first value has inserted when we execute our query previously. So I'm gonna delete that because I don't want to insert the same values again. Now let's run this one. Then you can see the data get updated here. Okay, now pause the video and look at this table and try to insert other rows by yourself. And if you after you've done that, come back to the video and check how do we do that. Okay guys, now I have added these other queries to insert other rows of the table. Now let's run that. Right, then you can see it has run our query, and we have got the table content. That means we have inserted all the data successfully to this table. Okay, now this is all for this video guys. If you learned something from this video, give a like to the video and share this video to others how to insert some data. Share this video to others to know how to insert some data into some tables using MySQL query statements. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.